Starling birds weave into their nest a few leaves from wild carrots to repel mites. There was a study in 1988 that actually did this, and they found out that the leaves of wild carrots can keep the mites from reproducing. There's a chemical in the leaves which keeps the mites from reproducing, and that actually helps to prevent anemia in the starlings, the developing nestlings. So what the mites do is they basically suck the blood, so they're taking oxygen away from the cells and tissues that the bird needs, so the bird develops anemia when the mites are reproducing in vast numbers. So they use leaves of wild carrots to actually take care of that problem. Another chemistry solution. Common grackles bow to the ground to let ants crawl on them. They'll actually hunch lower the ground, they'll spread their wings out, and they will purposely let ants crawl over their body and into their feathers. And this is known as anting, A-N-T-I-N-G. It is actually been given a name, this whole maneuver, anting. He says the ants secrete formic acid. This is why ant bites hurt so much, because there's a chemical, formic acid is a corrosive toxin, a neurotoxin, that actually is secreted by the ant. If you were to drop yourself into a vat of formic acid, I would not advise this, okay? Your nervous system would go haywire. It would basically be overloaded. It'd be so many electrical impulses, it would basically short-circuit your nervous system. You don't want to do that. Formic acid usually focuses on the optic nerve, and formic acid in high quantities can actually cause blindness. Okay? It's a dangerous chemical, but it's in such small amounts inside a little tiny ant. But if you're covered in ants, it can be significant. Okay? But that's the main chemical that's doing so much pain damage, is formic acid. And they can use marigold blossoms. It says here, some wrestle marigold blossoms for the same purpose. There's a chemical in those. I was fascinated by this. So I looked up grackles. What else can they use? Black walnut juice. And some grackles use black walnut juice to actually get rid of the parasites. Lemons and limes. Something I never heard of, choke cherries. Anybody heard of a choke cherry before? Some of you? I didn't know about that. They apparently have a large seed that contains a cyanide compound. And I found out that the leaves, stems, and barks are also toxic. So only the flesh of the fruit is edible. The rest is not, really. And then some grackles have been known to use mothballs. Some people put mothballs in the garden to keep out snakes there and other pests. If a grackle happens to find a mothball, it can use that same thing to keep away parasites, and it will do that.